Hello everyone, it is Al Night, it is Brony time, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy, Dual Destinies. Yes, when we last started, the courthouse just blew up. We started with terrorism, we met our new character, God, I forget the girl's lawyer's name. I'll pick it up, but I know this is Juniper. Oh, Athena, yeah. I think her name is Athena. And, well, apparently Apollo Justice was badly injured in the explosion, and he could not go on, so she tried to stand in for him, and then Phoenix just burst back in onto the scene. So, yeah. We're gonna get right back into this. I'm sorry I'm a little distracted. First couple episodes of a series, I'm always trying to check, make things are recording properly as they should. Hopefully we don't have any more frame issues like we did in the first one, but we haven't had any, so I think we should be fine. Well, that day, I was watching from the gallery. The bomb went off, and rubble started falling. It fell on top of me. Junie's clearly in pain being forced to recall the bombing like this. She can't even get her words out. This isn't going to work, so what now? Hey, wait a minute. Even if she can't vocalize that she wants to say, we can listen to what's inside her heart. Yes, now's the perfect time to use Athena's power. You can hear it, can't you, Athena? The cries of Miss Wood's heart? Yes, and they sound incredibly strained. She's so scared. Like she could collapse at any second. Athena has a unique ability, you see. With her finely tuned sense of hearing, she can hear the words of Witness's heart. In essence, she can sense how a person is really feeling from their tone of voice. Guess it's all up to Athena and her special abilities now. Athena, I want you to use the analytical psychology you study. And listen to the testimony of Miss Wood's heart. Okay, boss, I'll give it a go. After all, this is the whole reason I put all the effort into studying analytical psychology. Off, Gitch, let's do this! So your holographic thingamabob can show us how Miss Woods is feeling, right? In a nutshell, yes. The emotions and images that I picked up on the whole now while listening to her testimony, I can enter all that into Widget and use the mood matrix to analyze them. Okay, hopefully we don't have a crash here. Because we had that issue in the last game. Good, just seems we're good. These mood markers here reflect fluctuations in Junie's emotions. When she feels happy or is enjoying the memory, the happy marker will light up. When she feels angry or frustrated, the angry marker will react. When she feels sadness or is frightened by a memory, the sad marker will blink. And when she feels surprised or confused, the surprise marker will let us know. So with your special ability in Widget's Mood Matrix program, you can track how Miss Woods is feeling as she testifies. Talk about the wonders of technology. Yep, now let's give it a shot. I'm picking up on some kind of discord or noise in Junie's heart. See here? This is what the noise looks like in the Mood Matrix. It's a result of inconsistencies between her testimony and her feelings. If we can pinpoint these inconsistencies, the noise level should drop. Okay, it's time to listen to Miss Wood's true testimony. Well, that day, I was watching from the gallery. Okay, surprise makes sense. Surprise here also makes sense. Wait a second. What? Whoa. Happiness and surprise? I think I have a good grasp on Judy's emotional state now. This power of Athena's is incredible. I'm seeing an unexpected emotion that's inconsistent with the content of her testimony. What? Already? It fell on top of me. Look at this. When she says it fell on top of me, the happy marker is reacting. Well, look at that. That is odd. There must be a reason for this contradictory emotion. We just need to do some digging. When you find an unexpected emotion, you'll first need to pinpoint it, and then select the unexpected emotion or reaction from the 4 moon markers with space. Okay, so we just click it. There's no, like, oh, switch back and forth. Okay. Which is registering joy when Miss Woods recalls the rubble falling on her. There must be a reason for this unexpected emotion. Miss Woods, as the rubble was falling, was there also something that made you feel happy? What? Mr. Wright, the feeling of happiness is spreading throughout Junie's heart. Keep going on this point, and I bet Junie will start to calm down. Great, let's hear what she has to say. Just as I was about to escape the courtroom, the bomb went off. I was so startled, I tripped, and then rubble started falling on the top of me. I really thought I was done for, but just then, Apollo came and rescued me. Apollo? Oh god, she has the hots for Apollo. He used his own body to shield me from the rubble. So that's when you sustained those injuries. How do you feel, Junie? Did talking about Apollo give you some courage? Yes, Apollo is just like the sun, strong and bright and warm. Just talking about him makes me feel like a leaf undergoing photosynthesis. And see, your coughing stopped all of a sudden. Oh, you're right. Thank you, Thena. Looks like we're able to draw out some new testimony. Pretty neat, huh? But there's still some noise left, meaning there must still be some discord in Junie's heart. I guess we'll have to keep going then. Let me input this new information, update the mood matrix, and we'll be good to go. You remember what to do, right? When I find an unexpected emotion, I should first pinpoint it. That's right, and then you select it from the moon markers for space. If we can find the reason for the discord in her heart, then we should be able to draw even more testimony out. I tried to run, but I was too slow. Okay, court record. Can we not do the court record? Oh, it's E. I'm pressing R. Sorry, I think it's R in a... piece of stuffed animal in the bomb was inserted. The defendant's fingerprints were found on it. Okay, so we can't present this right now. The bomb went off. Oh, sadness.
Got it.
You were happy when Mr. Justice rescued you, weren't you? Yes, I was really happy. But was there also something you felt sad about at the same time? Sad? The reason I ask is, when you were describing how you were rescued, we sensed a little sadness too. Oh, I think it's probably because of Bumrap Riney. Bumrap Riney? Oh, what do you know? Something new. That's right, I brought my stuffed animal Bumrap Riney to watch the trial with me. Bumrap Riney and Phony Fanty are brothers. Who knew that legal world could inspire a whole line of merchandise? I had Bumrap Riney with me while I was watching the trial, but it wasn't until Apollo saved me that I realized I lost him as I was running away. My poor Riney, a victim of that terrible bomb. Oh, I know, you can see what he looks like in this poster. It's for the campaign to eradicate fake evidence and false charges. Plenty fancy up on Bumrap Riney, huh? Nothing against the campaign, but why an elephant and a rhinoceros? Mr. Wright, I don't sense any discord in Junie's heart anymore. So I guess that means we managed to draw that all out of her testimony. That's right. I'll just make an update with the new info, and we'll have the whole picture. So, do you think her new testimony will help? Absolutely. I don't know what I would have done without you, Athena. So Bumrap Riney was in that courtroom when the bomb went off. Now that we know that, it changes the meaning of that other piece of evidence. All I have to do is present it. The right statement. Okay. I was getting ahead of the game. I was like, oh, this is definitely it. I was watching from the gallery with Bumrap Riney. I tried to run, but I was too slow.
Objection!
Miss Woods, I know this trial has been very hard for you, but you can relax now. You are without a doubt innocent. Mr. Wright, what wild assertion are you making now? My wild assertion is simply this. The two stuffed animals were mixed up. The tail the defendant's fingerprints were found on wasn't that of Phony Fanty. It was the tail of her gallery companion, Bumrap Riney. What nonsense is that? I can see they're both stuffed animals, yes, but they're completely different characters. An elephant and a rhino, they're as distinct as a defense lawyer and a prosecutor. But are they really so different? Both defense lawyers and prosecutors tried to protect the peace through law. Even elephants and rhinos have some similar characteristics. They're both great, for example. Anyway, this poster is all I need to prove my assertion to be true. It may direct the court's attention here. You'll clearly see how the two got mixed up. It's the tail.
Take that!
Well, would you look at that? The two tails are exactly the same. Yes, exactly. The two stuffed animals are based on entirely different animals, but the design of their tails is exactly the same. Gah! Order in the court. As long as the possibility exists that the tail belongs to Bumrap Riney, we can no longer consider it to be decisive proof that the defendant handled the bomb. As things stand, I consider the charges against the accused unsubstantiated. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Payne? Oh, yes, of course, Your Honor. Oh, that was great, Mr. Wright. You turned things right around. Yeah, it's not over yet, but at least you managed to hold out this long. I believe that brings our proceedings for today to a close. Mr. Payne, I'm afraid you have some serious investigating ahead of you. Yes, Your Honor. Very well. Let us reconvene tomorrow. Court is adjourned. That was so exciting, boss! We did it! True to form, you managed to just barely pull it off at the very last moment. True to form? Gee, I never knew you had such a glowing opinion of me. Thank you for everything you're doing. You did great, Miss Woods. You really stuck it out. And you got really brave at the end, just when we needed you most, Junie. Thanks to you, we were able to turn things around. Well, you were the one who gave me that courage, Thena. Really? Thanks. So, be honest, was I any help at all? Of course. Without you, you would never gotten out of that tight spot. That's good to hear. I may still have a lot to learn, but you can bet I'm going to give it my all. I'll be so good that one day you'll call me your partner. That's what I like to hear. Analytical psychology, the ability to solve the riddles of a person's heart. Nina's true potential is beginning to really shine through now. Hey, where's Apollo anyway? Good question. I almost forgot about him. I assume he'd still be here in the lobby. Oh, I know. Maybe he's still in courtroom number 4. Courtroom number 4? What would he be doing at the scene of the explosion? When I came out of the lobby to rest, I told Apollo about Bumrap Riney. I told him I dropped Riney in the courtroom as I was trying to escape before the blast. And then Apollo said he had an idea where Riney might be, so we went to take a look together. I guess Apollo can be pretty nice when he wants to be. So you went looking for Riney together before you were called back into courtroom number 5? Yes, I'd had some time to rest, so I was able to go and look for him. But then they called me into courtroom number 5 to testify. Apollo insisted on staying there, though. With all those injuries, I wonder how he's managing. I think Apollo might have figured something out. Wonder what it was. He told me, I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper. Just maybe he found some new piece of evidence. Anyway, we'd better go and get him. Good idea.
I know you're... No.
Shit! Things are just going to hell so quickly. Son of a... God damn! They ain't pulling no punches with this game, I gotta say. This isn't exactly how I envisioned the second day of this trial to start. But given how things ended yesterday... Good morning. The mood sure is tense. Not that that's any surprise. Oh, hey, did you read the paper this morning, boss? Huh? Paper? That came out of left field. You didn't read it? Then you don't know the big news. Somebody spotted an abominable snowman way up in the mountains. Tell me you know the difference between a paper and a tabloid, Athena. It might show up in the forest where you live, Junie. So you better watch out, okay? You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't even begin to do it justice. Justice? Huh? Oh, poor Apollo. It's all my fault. Dina! Oh, Junie, what was I thinking? I'm so sorry. What we found yesterday. It's not Apollo's dead body, thank goodness. He'd been assaulted by someone with a blow to his head and was laying unconscious. We rushed him to the hospital right away. Looks like he's going to pull through. It was still quite a shock to stumble onto a scene like that. Is Miss Woods alright, Athena? Well, I managed to get her to stop crying. Now she's resting on that sofa over there. Guess she really feels responsible for what happened to Apollo. Poor Junie. She believes that the reason Apollo was attacked is because he was helping her look for something in that courtroom. Oh, guess I can see why she'd think that. By the way, how are you doing? Who, me? Yeah, you. I know you're concerned about Miss Woods, but are you alright? Me? I'm doing just fine, boss. I mean, yeah, it was a huge shock, but I'm alright. People who study analytical psychology are great at times like these. After all, they learned how to control their own emotions, too. Somehow I don't think it's as easy as she makes it sound. But there's no denying she's a real trooper. Apollo doesn't remember a thing, does he? Yeah, he can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in court number 4 or who assaulted him. The doctor said it's probably due to that hit he took to the head. Assaulted in a court of law and losing your memory at that. Know how that feels. But who in the world would do such a thing, huh, Mr. Wright? Just wait till I get my hands on the coward who hurt our Apollo. How now, Athena? I thought you said you were in control of your emotions. Let's just focus on helping Miss Woods, okay? But I admit, I'm just as upset as you. Okay, boss, you're right. Apollo's assailant can wait until after we clear Junie's name. That's the spirit. Now let's see. I better check the court record one more time before the trial starts. Earth to Mr. Wright. I'm ready whenever you are. Alright, let's get ready to rumble. You bet. With everything that happened with Apollo, I didn't have time for a proper investigation. Can't let that stop me, though. I have to get this right. For Mrs. Wood's sake, and Apollo's too. Day 2. Court is now in session. All rise. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Now then, I believe I instructed the prosecution to further their investigation. We're able to locate the remote switch in question. Sorry, I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor. I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. Not angry, just disappointed. I apologize, Your Honor. Aha! Looks like the prosecution is just as unprepared as I am. There is a separate matter, however, that I would like to bring up during this trial. A separate matter, you say? Might that be? I assume you're aware that another incident occurred during yesterday's trial. I'm speaking, of course, of the assault on Mr. Justice in the ruins of courtroom number 4. Uh-oh, why is he bringing that up? Yes, what a truly harrowing experience it must have been for Mr. Justice. At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods. He isn't going where I think he's going with this, is he? The prosecution wishes to indict Mrs. Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Order in the court. Mr. Payne. This incident under deliberation here is a courtroom bombing. The assault on Mr. Justice has nothing to do with this trial. But I believe there is a connection between this case and Mr. Justice's assault. Please take a moment to consider these facts. Both events occurred in courtroom number 4. This is the location in courtroom number 4 where the unconscious Mr. Justice was discovered. As you can see, it is quite close to where Detective Army's body was found. The question is, why did the culprit feel the need to maliciously attack Mr. Justice? Why indeed? What do you believe their motive to be, Mr. Payne? I believe Mr. Justice found something in that courtroom while Miss Woods was with him. evidence that figured her as the perpetrator of the bombing. You mean he found some incriminating evidence? Precisely, and so I surmise that the defendant picked up a piece of rubber and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him. Juniper would never do such a thing. She was devastated when we found Apollo hurt like that. Miss Sykes, please control your outbursts. Ahem, it is the prosecutor's belief that by deliberating on Mr. Justice's assault, we will draw ever closer to the truth of the courtroom bombing itself. Very well, Miss Woods is hereby officially indicted on the charge of assaulting Mr. Justice. Why are you listening to Mr. Toupee over there? Although, considering our conversation yesterday... Maybe the two incidents really are related after all. I would like to start by hearing from the defendant herself. Very well, bailiff, please bring Miss Woods to the witness stand. I'm sorry, I can't seem to stop. Miss Woods, guess she's still really upset about Apollo. Miss Woods, you went to the ruins of courtroom number 4 with Mr. Justice, did you not? Yes, I did. Good, good. If you would then please testify about what happened to the court. During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing. Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom ruins together. But then I was called back to this courtroom to give testimony. Apollo insisted on staying behind in courtroom number 4. I swear I didn't attack Apollo! Why would I ever hurt such a kind person? So Mr. Justice stayed by your side while you were feeling unwell. What an admirable young man! I thought his loud voice was his only outstanding feature. He may look like a little hypnotized, but Apollo can be really nice too. I hope she didn't hurt her wrist backhanding that one out. But one has to wonder, why did Mr. Justice stay behind in the ruins? I think Apollo might have figured something out. Something? What kind of something? Something to do with the courtroom bombing kind of something. I think. Oh, new evidence for the case, was it? That's a very big kind of something indeed. I believe so. He mentioned looking for some evidence when I was called away. Just as I thought, there is a connection between the two incidents, but the defendant has told a very big lie, Your Honor. What lie is that? When she learned Mr. Justice would be looking for evidence, she attacked him. She attacked him to give herself the chance to destroy that evidence. No! I never... Miss Woods repaid Mr. Justice's kindness with violence. We found the proof of her foul deed in the courtroom ruins. Oh my god, are we doing this again? What is with this constant... Oh, they wrote the name of the killer! What on earth? Do you see it? There in front of Mr. Justice's right hand. Witness the message he left us. It was written in blood. Woods. Why isn't that? That's right, Your Honor. We're doing this stupid thing again that makes no sense and is never true. It says Woods in capital letters. What? I submit that Mr. Justice left us with the name of his attacker before he fainted. No, that can't be true. Why would Apollo write my name? Mr. Wright, the nerve of him leaving that message. Why would he do this? Hey, don't take it out on me. I don't understand it any more than you do. We discovered Apollo yesterday. We didn't even have a chance to rush over to him. As soon as security heard Athena scream, they ran in and cordoned off the area. After that, they were there in courtroom number 4 with Apollo the whole time. Couldn't investigate anything ourselves, and had to leave everything to the police. Still, I never thought they would find some bloody writing there. Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Hold it!
Why exactly did you go to the courtroom ruins? We went to look for my medicine. To stop my coughing. Your medicine? Why would your medicine be in courtroom number 4? I dropped it in the heat of the moment. Bumrap Rainey, he was keeping my medicine safe for me. He has a little compartment that I can put things in, you see. Phony Fanty has the same type of pocket. That's where the bomb was inserted. I had to put my medicine for my coughing fits inside Bumrap Rainey. When I told Apollo about it, he said he'd help me go look for him. There was so much rubble in there, I was worried, but there was no rubble or anything in front of the witness stand. So when we got inside, Apollo went straight there and started looking for my Rainey in that area. It was so nice of him to do that for me, in spite of all his injuries. Apollo is so strong and kind, just like the trees of the forest. The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of ancient god. Oh, wait. So that's why you went to the ruins, I see. That seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to your testimony, Miss Woods.
Objection!
So he started his search with the witness stand, you say? That's right. I guess maybe he wanted to start from the furthest point in the room? He was being so brave. And strong. That's odd. For the circumstances, he should have been capable of that. But he was, and he still is. You might not look it, but he really is brave and kind, too. No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. What you are claiming is something that no one should have been able to do. But I think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Wright. True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. With the courtroom in this state, how was it possible to walk up to the witness stand? Oh, I see your point. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness stand. Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it. Great. Now, I'm not so sure it matters. A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know. That's precisely what Mr. Wright does best. I call slander, Your Honor. So, was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say, it's a bit hard to tell with any accuracy from just this diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene? Let me see, Your Honor. Yes, I have one more. Here it is. It's a more pulled back version of the photo I presented before. What's that hunk of metal on wheels? Mr. Payne, is the metallic object in that photo Mr. Tonate's bomb transportation case? That's right. Is there some problem? Yes, that transport case was there in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. Must have been there ever since. Oh, that's it! Miss Woods, have you remembered something? Yes, I just realized. Its position, it's different from before. Its position? The position of what? The position of that big metal thing. The bomb transportation case. Yes, when Apollo and I went there, it was in a different place. Where the cases in the photo was open space, so it was easy to search the stand. I see. So where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it? As I recall, I think it was more to the right. To the right? Then that means... In that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack. Who cares where the transport case was? When? What difference does it make? It has nothing at all to do with what we were talking about. Where the transport case was has everything to do with this discussion. In fact, it's so important that it's enough to turn the prosecution's argument on its ear. What? Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack. Yes, Your Honor. This diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault on Mr. Justice. Alright, I have this. Case here at time of Apollo's attack. The bomb charge case for Apollo's attack was right on top of this message.
Take that!
Your Honor, I assert that this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault. But that's... Inconceivable! Miss Woods, was this where the transport case was when you saw it? Yes, that's where it was. Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position. Transport case covers up the writing in blood. Exactly. If the transport case was in that position at the time of the assault, then no message could have been written there because the case was in the way. Which leads us to conclude that Mr. Justice could have left that bloody writing. Why should we believe the defendant's claim that the case was in a different position? She's obviously lying.
Objection!
The fact that the case was moved after the assault on Mr. Justice is proved by more than Mrs. Wood's testimony alone. What? And where is this proof you're talking about? It's right here in the crime photo. I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright. Much of this photo indicates the transport case was moved after the assault. This little thing right here, as you guys can see, the wheel go over his bandage, which means he was knocked out. And the case was then moved.
Take that!
Please take a look at the mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandages here. I see, but what is it? This mark was made by one of the casters from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. The transport case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice. Then, after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved. What? Just as Mrs. Wood said, this case was covering the writing at the time of the assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left that message in blood. No! You did it, boss. It was a real nail-biter, but you pulled it off. Yep, that should bring down the prosecution's claim like a house of cards. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction. It was nothing, Your Honor. Nothing but pure genius. Take that. Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming off of you. I have just one question, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Justice didn't leave this message in blood. Then who did? Huh? What? Oh! Well, looks like I should have taken that train of thought through to the last station. Well, I've heard a lot about this. So this is Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it? This really brings back memories of the old days. Back when you carved out a name for yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin. Gee, Mr. Wright, the judge kind of makes you sound no better than a two-bit con man. You made your argument with such confidence, Mr. Wright. Now I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence. Hey, so the judge asked the question. You didn't catch on either, Buster. What now, boss? I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way through this. I have to dig my way to the truth somehow. Who could have written that message in blood? Well, it's gotta be someone else. It wasn't Apollo. Who could have left that bloody message? Candace's arm. And to be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this. But I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Besides Apollo, there was one more person who shed blood at this crime scene. Person who shed blood? You don't mean... Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace's arm who left behind this message in blood. What? What? Detective Arm? Are you sure you know what you're doing here? Not really? What kind of ridiculous assertion is that? If you had said the attacker left the message to throw people off, it might have made sense. At first glance, that would seem to be the most reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message. Uh-oh. Ah, I see. The photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write all those letters. Mr. Justice did survive. I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case. But why would Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There is no connection between the two whatsoever. And I didn't even know the lady who was killed. I admit, the investigation didn't turn up any connection. Okay, I'm not reading this again. These flashbacks are annoying. They had never even met each other. That's very true. Well then, let's see. Then maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be. The intended meaning? Not what it appears to be. Maybe the message was not intended to be Woods. Coming from you, that's quite the bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert that this bloody writing could have some other meaning? Yes, Your Honor. Or something I pulled out of a wormhole. It could turn out to be true, right? It clearly says Woods, as anyone can plainly see. What other meaning could it possibly have? But Candace's arm was a detective. Maybe Woods only means something to the police. Like a police scanner code, for example. I didn't think of that. You may have tricked his honor, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. And there is no such radio code as Woods in this state, dear Mr. Wright. Is that a fact? Don't look at me. I know as much as you do about police codes. Enough of this. I was quite taken with the defense's new theory. But if they can't substantiate it with anything, then I must end things here. No, please wait, Your Honor. Very well, but before we discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what is the true meaning of the bloody writing? Well, I believe it's... And no stalling. If you can't come up with an answer quickly, we'll declare this discussion officially over. I'm in trouble now. What other meaning could it have besides this one? Maybe it means something in another language. Or maybe it's a code? Think, Phoenix, you can do this. Piece of evidence will tell us the word Woods really means. Is it the case? He said it might be a code, and there is something that might be a code on there. There's There's no code on anything else. I'm gonna go with this.
Take that!
The bomb transport case? About had it up to here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Take a look at the numbers on this case, Your Honor. L10015R. Doesn't this string look vaguely familiar? L100. What does that have to do with anything? What could those numbers possibly have to do with the case at hand? Now please take a look at the bloody writing shown in the crime photo. Oh, I think I see it. That a girl. That's one on my side. It says Woods. Or you could say it's a horse of a different color, Your Honor. The first character isn't a W. It's actually an L and a 1. The next two are zeros. Oh, my goodness. The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't Mrs. Wood's name. It's the number engraved on this bomb transport case. What are you talking about? The next part doesn't make any sense. The next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D. But the numbers on the case and the bloody writing can be made to match up quite easily. This is how the number on the transport case can be made to match the bloody writing. Please erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved part of the D. Well, would you look at that? L-I-0-0-I-S. No, Your Honor, it isn't meant to be read as a word. It's the number L10015, which, if you take away the final R, is the exact same number that's on the bomb transport case. Erase 2 lines and they match up, you say? Well, I can change anything into anything else simply by erasing 2 lines. What if we erased 2 lines from your name? Would you be happy as Mr. Rye? Well, would you, Mr. Rye? The only right spelling is right. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here, and I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective Arm's real message to us is the bomb transport case number. Your Honor, the 2 lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people. What? The original message Detective Arm left behind was the transport case number, but whoever assaulted Apollo changed the message. If you're right, boss, then what do you suppose Detective Arm was trying to tell us? Good question. What does this number represent? Candace Arm lost her life in the courtroom bombing. Her dying message could only have had one purpose. No! To tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing. Well, don't keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who she was trying to name. The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than Ted Tonate.
Take that!
The defense wishes to indict Mr. Ted Tonate on the charge of the courtroom bombing. Ted Tonate? Apparently disabling bombs is Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow the victim must have realized that he was the bomber. So when she was caught in the blast, she left his bomb transport case number as her dying message. She used Mr. Ted Tonate's own ID number to finger him for the crime. Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Wouldn't they simply write the person's name? He's got a good point there. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? Only Detective Arm would know... Only Detective Arm would know the answer to that. Well, allow me to offer a theory. Perhaps Detective Arm couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, this was the first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Or maybe using the ID number as a way to hide its true meaning from the real culprit, thus lowering the odds that they would erase the bloody writing. No matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains, she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number.
Objection!
Now, just one moment here. There hasn't been any proof yet that it was indeed Detective Arm who wrote it. The bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. If Detective Arm had left a message, it should have been found at the time.
Objection!
Naturally, Mr. Tonade hid it before anyone could discover it. And there's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so. What? Mr. Tonade was able to cover the message because he was the first to find the body, obviously. He said that. The first person to discover the bloody writing was Mr. Tonade himself. When Mr. Tonade saw that the victim had written his ID number, he used the bomb transport case to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Oh, so that's why the message in blood was under the transport case. He didn't have enough time to try and scrub away the writing. If he didn't report the body right away, he would look suspicious. So those letters lived on to serve another function. Mr. Tonade used them in another incident. Oh, the assault on Mr. Justice. Exactly. Mr. Tonade hit upon a plan to use the bloody writing for his own purposes, so he didn't clean it away. Instead, he made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it, by adding 2 lines to the writing that Detective Arm left behind. He changed the meaning of the message. He made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Miss Woods of the attack. So that means the only person who could have altered the bloody writing was the courtroom bomber, who was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Donate. Order in the court, order I say. Looks like we'll have to hear from the bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Tonade take the witness stand. Yes, Your Honor. That was great, Mr. Wright. Just doing what I do best, which is flying by the seat of my pants. I draw Mr. Tonade back onto the witness stand. Looks like you'll get your wish, Goggle Man. Now watch me take your lies apart. And we will get to that next time on Dual Destinies. Yep. We're calling it here, folks. Pretty standard first case so far. I am a little annoyed they went with this stupid dying message again. It's like they started it in the second game and now they're bringing it back here. I mean, I guess they changed it up a little bit with it being a message left by someone else that was then altered to misdirect. But it's just like, this shit just doesn't happen. People cannot leave dying messages in blood this easily. And this happens in a lot of Japanese games, including Danganronpa is another game where, you know, you have a lot of this going on. But, yeah, we'll see. But, of course, we're definitely taking down Mr. Tonade because we know he did it because of the beginning. It kind of gone back to that. But, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to Brony Time for more content, especially more Apologize to Ace Attorney Trilogy. Make sure to share this video far and wide so we can get more and more people in on this series. I will see you all next time.